Welcome to the Quantum Empath. My name is Kelley Michelle, and I am here today to share a little bit about why I started my business, my soul-led business, and what I've learned in the last year. I'm going to have to put my glasses on because, my eyeballs. But I sat with my guides this morning. They gave me a list of 10 talking points. This is not scripted. These are just things that I think everybody can benefit from knowing. So let me tell you a little bit about this story, because back in 2022, 2022, I was living in my low-income apartment with my boys, and I was cleaning houses, and I had also discovered sound healing. So I was doing sound bowls for my neighbors. I was driving my sound bowls around. I was doing tuning forks with people and doing biofield tuning. I was getting some feedback that, I was helping people get their chakras aligned. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But let's just say I was a baby. I was a baby at the time. And so I had at one point, I had been desiring to get out of my apartment for quite some time. And toward the end of 2022, I ran into somebody that I used to work with who, when we had a short conversation, she said she was looking for a housekeeper and she had a rental. And then I found out the rental was right next door to my son's best friend. And make a long story short, I ended up cleaning it and then moving in with my kids. And so I ended up on this 2.5 acre beautiful property at the base of Mount Rose, where I do my skiing. I have beautiful sunrises and sunsets. My neighbors are not close to me. It's amazing. And I'm fairly close to town. So it's a beautiful situation. And then this house came with its own little weird entrance, a separate entrance that I used to use for my coaching and my little reception area. And then it had a little room off the back where I could do my sound healing work. I put a couch down there that folded into a big bed so I could do couples. I had a massage table so I could do biofield tuning and sound healing there. It was a great little setup. And Spirit kept saying, go bigger, go bigger, go bigger. And then he sent me a friend who said, hey, let's bring a Harmonic Egg to Reno. And we started planning all of that. And then 3 months later, she decided to take another direction. And I was put into a choice point of we can be done now, and I'll just keep cleaning, or I can press forward. And so I decided at that point, I was already invested in the process, if you will. I was invested in the vision, because I for several years had been interested in the Harmonic Egg and all of the magic that I was reading about it. I had never tried one, but I had listened to so many podcasts and read so many testimonials and watched YouTube videos that I was convinced that I needed to bring this technology to the world to help people through the Great Awakening. And so I did, alone. And I I say alone, but this is a story that I really haven't spoken about publicly. One of my dear friends was tragically killed. And 3 weeks prior to her death, she and I had gotten together for an art date, and I was telling her, really want to start this business, but I just don't know how I'm going to do it. And I said, it's just too much to think about. And I don't know if people are going to invest, da, 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 da. And she goes, well, she just pulls out her phone. I might be able to help you. I've got money in my retirement. I could help you. And I looked at her and I was thinking to myself, you're going to open your retirement and loan me money for this business? I don't even know if it's going to work. And I believe that it was in that moment that she planted that seed in me that it is okay for me to borrow against my retirement. She wasn't programmed to treat that money as something that you use for a rainy day. She had the mindset that, no, you can go chase something with it. Here, go chase your dream. And so when she died, she came to me and she said, it's all true. It's all true what they say. It's everything, everywhere, all at once. And I haven't spoken about that publicly because her death was so tragic. And I think a lot of people are still struggling with her loss. And if I wasn't so connected in with her, I would be struggling too. But she's definitely my main guide and working with me on the other side. So Carla, I love you and thank you for your guidance. You know, I know you're sending me messages, and this one's for you because you were an amazing soul and you still are. So let's talk about when I first started my business, Stay Tuned Soul Therapy, when I was living in my apartment and I had my chakras aligned and I felt clarity like I had never experienced before. I went for a hike that day and the trees, everything was vivid. And if you're an empath, a lifelong empath like I was, and you had never had your chakras aligned, just 7 of them, imagine the clarity. It felt like I popped a happy pill and my life changed. I decided that day, I came up with the name Stay Tuned Soul Therapy. I was thinking sound therapy, but I'm really glad Spirit told me soul therapy because that's what I do. And so when I decided that I was going to investigate this sound healing thing, I started researching biofield tuning, and I found tuning forks, and I bought tuning forks and Elaine McCusick's the biofield tuning book, and I started watching videos on YouTube, and I was just soaking up everything I could learn about tuning forks. And then I started learning about sound bowls, and I started learning, it just kind of went down that hole. And started learning, I wanted to be a coach, so I took a law of attraction course. Of course, I was at the time living in my low-income apartment cleaning houses and taking a law of attraction coaching course so I could tell other people how to attract the life of their dreams. Hey, nothing wrong with it. It's a process. So I started making social media actually when I found out I was going to get that house. My son's like, Mom, I'll help you make a commercial. We'll make it work. It was an extra $700 more than what I was paying. And so we made a little commercial for my sound healing. And I really started trying to market myself as a sound healer. And that was back in, well, that was 2023 or so. I was still using filters. I was talking like this when I came on and recorded my videos. I used my high voice, my sweet voice, and then Spirit's like, come on, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Sometimes I still find myself using it. So no more filters, no more fake voice. I'm just trying to be as much of me as I can be. So I wrote down, I thought it would be easy. Oh, and I thought people would be banging down the door because I was so excited about the technology. And I was getting a listing on harmonicegg.com. And so I thought, surely everybody's going to go, oh my God, there's one in Reno. And actually, the day I signed my lease, a second egg came to Reno. This is not something that was a surprise to me. I did know that she was looking and that we have a very different clientele. She's a former masseuse. And I tend to lean into the emotional side of things, the ascension side of things, mental health, childhood trauma, past life trauma, generational curses. I do kind of all the outer body soul work. That's the stuff I love. Emotion code, biofield tuning, all that good stuff. And so, yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be really easy. And I freaked out a little bit the day that I signed the lease and found out that she was purchasing her egg. And I stayed there for about 30 minutes. And then I decided, oh, you know what? This is great because variety is awesome. And everybody has a favorite pizza restaurant that they love because they love the taste of the dough or they love the toppings that that restaurant uses. And I feel like the Harmonic Egg Centers are no different because every person that operates a harmonic egg brings their own unique perspective and gifts to the world. And because there are two in Reno, I decided to go online and find my people that way. And the reason why I did that is because I realized that I'm a new earth architect and that my people are all over the world. We're all over the place because we are burning off the density all over the globe. And the thing is I have the antidote for that. But my people are all over the world. They're not just in Reno. Although I found a lot of amazing people in Reno. So, okay, another big thing I did is when I decided to go online and start really doing my business. This was a choice I made that I don't necessarily recommend, but I decided to try going completely frequency based and no hashtags, no ads, just pure authenticity, sharing what I feel like sharing, which is usually messages that my guides bring through me, and then telling you guys a little bit about the egg, and then sharing with you information that's coming through me. So I have been growing my social medias very gradually and to the point where I've not been paid for a year. So I don't know that I would recommend it, but it's okay. I'm learning. I'm experimenting so that I can learn, so that I can tell you what works and maybe what doesn't work. So I had a originally a couple months after I started my business were okay busy. I had done a buy one get one free special and sent it out to my friends and community. I had run some specials, got some people in the door, and then things slowed down. Even if I was running the specials, things were slowing down. And so I had to pivot. I ended up creating a TikTok. Oh, wait, did I start? Yeah, I started TikTok and I didn't tell anybody. I just did it. And I didn't even tell the people on TikTok that I had an egg for many posts because I wanted to interact as just somebody who was a member of the community and not somebody who was coming in to try and sell something. I'm not a salesperson, but I've always said I can sell something if I believe in it. But again, I'm not a salesperson. So I am struggling with that aspect of my business. I started the podcast and I did probably 18 shows before I implemented video because I wanted to record the podcast in my pajamas, which is really nice because usually that's when I'm in my flow. And I guess I could record in my pajamas. Spirit said, take a shower. So I started my YouTube. I've been posting my interviews here and my random chat moments. So, okay, no sales. Oh yeah, no sales and have the ability to be seen, or like I'm trying to do is I know that I'm divinely protected and I work for God and that this is a mission that I'm on. And I feel like if you know you're on a mission because you'll get the message, God will clearly tell you you have a bigger role to play. And if that's you and you still are afraid of being seen, then you should probably reach out to me because that's what I'm here for. But the reason why I decided that I wanted to go full-time woo, if you will, or more into the Great Awakening ascension side of the Harmonic Egg is because I know she's tied into the quantum grid and she's galactic. My egg's name is Mona Lisa. And she came to me the other day, actually, and she's like, hey, girl, we started this as partners, and if you want me to be an equal partner in the business, you need to start talking about me a little more. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest challenge there is a lot of the work that I do is very sacred and very private. And so I don't want to take a lot of footage of people who are going through their deep, deep healing work and also air their laundry. I mean, it kind of feels challenging. And so that's why when I have my podcast interviews, I send them the 3-week house clearing because I want them to be able to tell you what their experience is. I want you to know that it works quantumly and that you don't need to be in my egg to receive the healing. And so, yeah, that's that. So the next note I have is know your why and be clear on your mission, because there are going to be times when you're going to be tested. I have been tested multiple times this past year on how I'm going to pay the overhead, how I'm going to pay my residential rent, general basic stuff. and I keep turning in my assets, and the assets are running out. And Spirit keeps saying, keep going, keep going. And I'm an alchemist, and so I am not meant to come on here and fearmonger or scare or make anybody feel sad for me. I'm one of those people that I'm supposed to alchemize it and empower myself and then bring it to you. So I've done my best to alchemize the deep generational curse of lack and scarcity that my bloodline has endured for years, and the one that I believe I'm here to break. And I have that as part of my mission. I know I'm ancient, and I know I'm cosmic. And because I work on frequency and harmony and resonance, I know that my audience probably is exactly the same. And if I'm speaking to you and these words are resonating, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for stepping up to the plate. Thank you for remembering. Because the more of us that remember our inner magic, our soul, the more we can help other people remember theirs. Because it's like one match can light an entire cake full of candles. So yeah, I touched a little bit on the generational curse breaker part, and I came into the world with a deep, deep lack consciousness, scarcity mindset, and I think a lot of the people in this collective have. We grew up in times where the divorce rate was off the charts. Kramer versus Kramer. I was just telling my mom about that the other day. They were normalizing parents splitting up. And then it became the broke single mom part of the story that my mom said, I can't afford to put shoes on your feet. Your dad doesn't help me. You know, I used to have three brothers, and we would each get a gallon of milk to last us for a week. And I had a Sharpie, and every time I used my milk, I would draw a line on the container, and then I would initial it. Now, it kind of reminds me of if you're a kid who was stealing alcohol from your parents' alcohol cabinet, which I don't think I did, but, you know, maybe the line went down, so then you kind of add a little bit of water to it. And I think that's what my brothers would do to me, is they would drink their milk, and then they would drink my milk, but then they would add water to it to bring it back up to that line. But things were tight. Did a lot of hamburger helper back in the day. So the last thing I have is flow doesn't mean I don't work. When I am telling people going out of busyness, let's go out of busyness, I'm saying I don't think we should be waking up to an alarm clock that's wah, 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 you know. And then what do we have to do? We have to go wake our kids up, and it's still dark out, and we're like, come on, get out of bed and put your clothes on, and let's take you to your school. Not a big fan. It's hard. Same if you're going to a 8 to 5 job that you don't love. I think the only reason I was able to do so much healing work while I was cleaning is because I enjoyed it. I just listened to podcasts all day. I learned. It was my school. And it was meditative for me. And then I got to help a lot of people keep their life together. And so I would often see people's businesses when I was driving to my house to house, and I'd think, man, what would it be like to go to this one place every day? And how did those people do it? And then I thought, well, they just did. They just did. But maybe they didn't have the mindset that I had, that business is scary and having a brick and mortar commercial space is scary. And so I tried to work through all of that before I even opened my business, because I had been in business for several years as self-employed, no overhead business from my home. So, I'm paying for it whether I'm working or not, right? So I had to do a lot to get to the point where I was able to pull the trigger. And then I think in this past year, if I didn't have my harmonic egg, I think I would have quit a long time ago. And the reason why is because after about 6 sessions in my egg, I felt this and it's documented on my Instagram. My 6th session in my egg, I said coherence. It's about coherence. And Dana Kipple talks about that in her book, A New Force, Our Little Spinning Bubble of Plasma. And I was saying coherence before I read the book because I felt it. I felt it. If you don't understand coherence, think about how the guitar that's been sitting in your closet hasn't been tuned for a while. How does it sound before you tune it? And then can you tune that guitar, and then the sound comes out and it sounds nicer, much, much nicer. That's what the egg does for people. It brings that coherence back into your field. And then the other thing that I discovered was when I first opened my doors, I was like, oh, go, what? I didn't want to overburden people. So I was like, oh, come back in a few weeks. Well, maybe come back. No, you need to do it. My recommendation is 4 to 6 sessions minimum. And I like to work with people because then I teach you how to tune your own chakras, how to use a pendulum. We talk about your soul contracts. We talk about your past lives and what types of past lives have you had. I go through a list of codes, grab a void numbers, and healing codes, and we recode your field, like updating your driver. I see it like you get a new printer and it's Bluetooth. You gotta reinstall the driver. And as humans are upgrading, we're all cattywampus. We're all out of sorts. We're metamorphosizing. And what I see is it's bringing coherence back into the field. It's reprogramming our coding. It's taking people's intentions out to the field and enhancing and amplifying them and bringing them back. People are getting jobs quickly after coming to my egg. They are going to the casinos and having nice results there. They are attracting relationships. Oh, some of them are working their mission now. The ones that started working with me early on a lot of them have dove into their mission. Even though I'm the conservative one, I don't tell people you need to do it all overnight, because it sounds like when I went from cleaning to my Stay Tuned Soul Therapy, I did it overnight, but I didn't. there was a transition there of 3 years that I did it in my home office as my hobby. A lot of people wanted me to keep my cleaning jobs. Oh, you should keep some of your cleaning jobs. But again, I wanted to do it differently. I've studied the greats. I've studied Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn and Wallace Wattles. And then I studied quantum physics and New Age and ancient stuff, the Hermetics. And I find out it's all the same. It's just different language. Different language. So whether you're saying manifestation or luck or prayer or miracle, it's all the same. It's just the verbiage you put on it. So I would love to leave this here. A little note of gratitude to those of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm up to 61 now. You just never know. To all the people who are subscribing to my podcast and listening to that, thank you so much. I'm the Quantum Empath on TikTok. And if you want to explore the other side of TikTok, there's a really awesome collective of people over there who are working for the New Earth. And so if you connect with me, by default, you'll connect with some other great minds. I am Stay Tuned Soul Therapy on Instagram. I do have a Quantum Empath presence over there, but it's occasional. So if you're following me on Instagram as the Quantum Empath, I'm sorry, I don't post everything there. And then YouTube, my Quantum Empath 33, the Quantum Empath 33, I believe. And you can reach out to me at staytunedsoultherapy@gmail.com. You can look in my link tree. I have 3 house clearings. That is awesome. A lot of people don't realize how much disharmony is in the home just because the energies are so off. There's Wi-Fi running around. There's all the different biofields of all the different family members, spirit attachments, all the stuff in the walls. That is a really, really cool offering. I also have remote offerings for my coaching. I have remote and in-person sessions available. You have to reach out, though. I'm not going to conk you over the head and drag you in. The egg is really powerful, you guys. But then paired with me, I was doing this quantum healing work before, my dowsing work. We get really clear on your subconscious stuff, your emotional blocks, your psychic gifts, your cosmic race, your soul contracts. I know I don't talk about myself, but I got to tell you guys, I am certain that if I don't start including some of this information in my podcast, well, I might just have to let go of the commercial space. And that's fine. If that is what is meant to happen, that will happen. God says that's not going to have to happen. But he said you do need to talk about it. So I'm talking about it. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I really do appreciate you. Yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to me in my email or DM me. I don't have bots. I don't have a receptionist. I don't have a team. It is me. It is me. I am the editor, the producer, and the star of my own show because, hey, that's what we are, right? I'm still trying to figure it out. I love you guys.